Okay, are we working? I think so. Hello, hello, Heather here. Just checking. Make sure everything's good here. Yeah, it looks like my volume is okay. Hi, how is everybody doing today? Let me just see if I can get some comments pulled up here. There they are. Oh, hi Jacqueline. Looks like we have some eyeballs starting to pop on there. Just drop a hello, hi Anja, in the comments there so I know you're there. Oh, look, I can, sorry, I've got them on my iPad, but I know that that wasn't working that great. But I can see them. Hi Ellie, hi Sylvia. Good to see everybody popping on. Today I'm going to make a scrapbooking layout. So I don't know how many folks out there are scrapbookers. Hi Terry, hi Anita, hi Rebecca and Astrid. Hopefully we've got some folks out there that like to scrapbook as well as journal and do the planners. And that's why I started buying Elizabeth Craft Designs, was because I really, really liked the planner dies and I was using them for my scrapbooking. But yeah, so I've been doing lots of other things since I've gotten such a big collection. But yeah, so every now and then I like to go back and do a scrapbook layout, and that's what I'm going to do today. So how many eyeballs have we got? Lots of folks jumping on there. Sylvia says she used to scrapbook. Hi Candice. George Rhonda says yes, that you like to scrapbook. Yeah, so I hope some of you are going to enjoy this. I see Deborah, Ons, Belinda. Yes, don't forget to like, comment, and share the video for your chance to win the $50 gift certificate from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Hello, Catherine from Massachusetts. So why don't we go ahead and flip things over. And let me see. See, I can see comments there, I think, too. Just want to make sure. Yeah, I think those have stopped, so that's okay. I am going to flip the camera so you can see the desk there, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit because I'm going to do a little bit of prep. So I've done a lot of prep before I came on today because, yeah, I don't do scrapbook layouts in an hour. That's not happening. So I did do a lot of prep, but I'll walk you through. It's all pretty basic stuff. But this is what I wanted to start with, just to show you how I did this. Hello, I think that says Ivor. It's a little far away. Hi, Petri. Okay, so what I did was I'm going to make some file folders and I'm going to attach them to a scrapbook page. So I've prepped some of them already. You can see the stamping on them, and I've left one so that we can do that. And then I have a bunch of photos that are going to go on and in and around these file folders. So I'm just going to take these and set them just off to the side here. Use them as my sample. If I can figure out where to put everything. There, we'll just set that underneath. Okay, so I did cut out two, what I did two with the Bloom file folder, right? So this file. And then I did two with the floral slots file folder. So for the floral slots, this is the middle one. So I just folded it in half normally. And then for this one, I folded one this way and one that way so that the tabs are on different sides. So you can see that here. I've got one tab here, two middles, and then one on this side. Okay, so we're gonna just set that there. So I do have my stamping mat underneath here, and then just a scrap piece of paper underneath that. And I have a bunch of ink colors. So as I've shown you before, I have a lot of Close to My Heart. So I'm going to be using those. I did not use the espresso, so we'll just put that away. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using, as well as I have this Catherine Pooler Sandcastle. So I'll be using that a little bit too. Okay, so we're going to start out with this one here. Katie says she scrapbooked and taught classes for the store you worked at. Nice, Katie. So have you ever used planner or art journal dies when you're doing that? Hi, Robin. Those comments just disappear so fast. It's so hard to keep up. So I have this stamp from this script stamp from Script from the Past from David. And I just started out with that, so I'm just taking this really light, it's almond color, so very light beige color. And I'm going to ink this one up. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp this right on the front here. I'm not too worried about where it goes. You won't see most of it because I am putting photos on top, so it will be covered up. Oh, and I should mention how I folded these. Okay, set that one. I think that's all that I used with that color. I'm just going to give that a quick clean and get it out of my way. I have stamps all over my desk here, which you can't see right now, but I have very little room because I've prepared all of these stamps so it would be faster today. So I did fold these. So you can see they're both like this. So I went and got a file folder out of my filing cabinet just to look at it. And so I folded them just slightly under so that that front one, you can see the back one from it. So when I looked at my file folders in my cabinet, that's basically what they look like. So that's what I did. And then it ends up measuring, I mean, it's not a you know, completely straight edge there, but basically I'm exactly 4 inches right to the edge of that. So my tab sticks out a little bit more than that, but basically from this edge, it's 4 inches that way. Hopefully I'm on the screen there. Okay. So, and then I just started doing some random stamping everywhere. So let's start with this sand castle color. So it's just a tad bit darker than this almond. Now this almond, you can see this is wet. So see the difference? It's the same color. So it just takes a little while. It soaks into the paper and then it dries and then it becomes a much lighter color. So I'm going to take the sand castle and I'm going to, so like I said, I have a bunch of stamps here. So I'll pull them in kind of as I go so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start with this first. So I wanted to stamp, each of them has some different kind of word there, and then that means I need to grab my purple color because I want them all to be the same. So I'm going to grab this purple color. It's not the exact same as the paper that I'm going to be using, but it's close enough. And then from this is, let me just grab this. This is the Property of Stamp and Die Set. So I've grabbed a bunch of different stamps off of that. And that's where this number came from. So I'm just going to ink that up. And then that's going to go right there. Perfect. Give that a quick little wipe. And then I will use that again. And I just set this other one from it up here because when I was stamping it before, I just grouped them together and then that becomes one when I stamp it. Okay, again, set that out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up and I'm just going to, again, now I'm going to go back to the sandcastle and I'm just going to pick up some random ones. So from this set here, so this is Field Notes. So I've grabbed this corner one, I've grabbed this sections, and this one here is this confidential one. So again, I've grabbed a bunch from that one. So I'm going to start with the corner and I'm just going to tap it lightly because these are really foamy. Right there. So that is going to blend in quite a bit, but it is a little bit darker than that almond color. Okay, set that one out of the way. Let's grab from Postage Stamps 1. So I've got the woman there, and then I've got this stamp with the bee on it. And we're gonna go I'm just going to hang off a little bit on this one. So see, I pushed hard, so I ended up with ink all over that. So I'll just wipe that off on my paper first before I use my chamois. Okay, that one's done. We're going to add a circle. So I'm trying to mix up some shapes, and then I am trying to mix up placement. So I am really focusing on the outside of this because, again, my picture is going to cover that up. And I just realized which way. This one is going to go this way, so I'm going to turn it, and it's okay that that's sideways because some of the stamps are going to be sideways. I'm not worrying about things being right way up. I didn't show you where this one comes from, so here's one more. This is Frida at Home, so I grabbed some of the circle ones. It's got some nice circle shapes on there, and then a number one from that one. So I'm going to be using those. Let's just leave them here. And then the only other one that I've got here, I can grab it, is Craft Store. And I've only grabbed the one Creative Good Life on there. Okay, so I've done 3 in that color. I might add more after, we'll see. But that's, I'm kind of working in 3s. Sorry, not watching any of those comments. See lots of people still popping on there. Belinda it says, love the postage stamps. The newest one, I love the butterflies. Yes, the postage stamps are great. I've been collecting them. Okay, so let's try another circle. So I like this one. It's got a little space inside for a number or a text or something. So we're going to get that one inked up in the purple. I'm going to put that right there. And I did pull out enough stamps that I'm only using them once. Oh, this, yes, this is my stamp chamois. It's just like almost like a car chamois. We'll go with that one. We're gonna go, oh, that didn't ink up very good. Go up here, and it's okay, like I said, if it goes off of the page. It's okay if it's upside down or sideways. Another purple one. What do we want to use? More text, I think. Yeah, let's go with this number 1. I think we're going to turn that, even though that will be upside down. That's okay. We're going to go right there. Okay, so let's do it that way. I'm just going to set them aside as I use them. And let's grab some blue. So I've got 3 purple, 3 of the light beige. We're probably going to add more as I go, but I'm going to start with 3 of each and see what it looks like. So we're going to go up here. She looks great. Add a white. And we'll do these numbers. Where do I want that? I think I want that there. So a little bit of overlapping is okay as well. So I did mention, I think the colors that I chose are the colors out of the paper. So I haven't shown you the papers yet, but I'm going to grab those when I'm done this, and you'll be able to see what those look like. What I like the circles kind of being in close proximity. And let's do one more with the blue. I'm going to stick this up there. I'm going to grab the purple again. What's this one? I know. Yeah, so I'm going to turn this one upside down actually. Or I could just stamp it like this, because that's going to be on the back and you're not going to see it. So on the other ones, when I stamped this, I ended up with this personal use only showing on all of them. So definitely want to mix that up a little bit. Okay, what do we got here? Let's use some more of this color. Oh, I keep pushing way too hard on that. We're gonna go there. When I do that, I just use my paper to get the worst of it off, and then I use my stamp chamois. That way it keeps my stamp chamois from getting too dirty. Okay, what do we got left? I've got this one. So let's put some of this over here. It's upside down. That's okay. And then I've actually used them all now. So I'm going to end up using one more another time. So what do we want? I think I used this one for inside, but now it's all wet. So I just got to make sure that I dry this. Here, I have a cloth. There it is. Just give that a quick wipe so that it's dry. And then I'm just going to have to use this top word, but I want the blue. So an advantage of these square ink pads is I can just ink one word. So I can, because I've got a nice straight edge there. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that, excuse my head in there. There we go. So that fits in there nicely. And then what do we want to add in here? Maybe this one. Go like that. Oh, I really like this one. Even though there's blue right there, we're going to put that there just in case that shows, because this one is going to have a smaller photo, so there will be more of this one visible. Probably like that. So maybe I'll put something in there. I really like that circle one. Where is it? Let's do this one again, but this time I'm going to do it in the brown, but I still have to add a purple word in there. So let's, and we're going to stamp it. Whoops, I think I moved, smudged it. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Just checking those comments. Any stamping collage. Oh, so many comments. Special type of cloth for cleaning. Yes, I saw that one. Don't see anything there that I've missed. Hopefully I haven't missed anything important. Any questions? Okay, let's go back to my purple. And I need another word. No idea what these words are, but they're going to be good enough. So I'm going to turn it this way. So again, I'm just going to stamp the one word and drop it in there. Okay, so I think good there. So there, so that one's done. The stamping's done. So now I need to collect all of these stamps off of my desk and make some space. And then watch me having to put them all back. It's going to be quite a puzzle. Get them all out of the way. There's a lot of them. There we go. Okay, so now I have a little bit more space. Okay, so I did ink distress. I'm going to leave that here just for a minute. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to ink distress this one too. So of course when I was doing these all to prep, I had them all spread out and I was stamping them all at the same time, so it definitely goes a lot faster when you're doing multiples. But I love these stamps. Are so fun to just play with and mix and match, and they make great backgrounds, right? Thank you, Anita. Saying great job. Okay, I'm not done. I need to ink the inside, but I still need that after, so I'm just going to push this out of the way and I'm going to show you. I've shown this before in a live, but this is the excuse me, the inside, right? So I ran my die through the machine this way, and so it creates a little bit of a lip on the edge, and I want to ink that edge, so I'm going to just push it down with my bone folder so that it's a little bit flatter. Makes it a little bit easier for me to then ink distress it. And now I'm not doing anything on the insides, which I may decide to later, but I'm not really sure. Kind of wait and see how it's going to come together before I make that decision. Okay. And then I have done, like I said, I did a lot of prep, so this is not a 1 hour project by any means. I worked off and on all day yesterday preparing. But a lot of it is like this kind of thing, right? So ink distressing all of the edges takes a lot of time, and you don't have to do it. And then the stamping did take some time, of course. Okay, so there, you see how that's getting much lighter now, right? That looked a lot darker when we first stamped it. Okay, set that out of the way. So one more inking thing before I pull out the actual layout. So let me just take a quick sip and find what I'm looking for. Okay, so I cut these out. These are also from the Floral Slots file folder set. So I cut out a bunch of these. They're going to be like embellishments on the page. So you can see a color difference. The only reason is because I took this and I went over it. So this has been inked up with, I don't know, whatever blue color I've used in the past. I've used many different blue colors. So there's just a ton of ink on here. So rather than getting too concerned about it, this is all I did. I just brushed across it, just kind of randomly, trying to keep the pressure kind of light, but it just gives it a little bit of different color so that there's more texture on there. So that's it. Okay, so that's all of that prep stuff. So we'll just set these up here out of the way, and then I can get rid of this for now. And then we're gonna pull out the layout. Okay. Oh, this was the other thing that took me so much time. I made a title. So I did this on Cricut, and so this whole layout is just about my first year on the Elizabeth Craft design team. You'll see all the photos I saved, and I just like to save my memories and keepsake those things. So I have a whole scrapbook where I've done stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip over my camera so you can see better. So now that we have the actual layout here, I'm going to go like that. And then that helps us to see the whole thing. Let me just make sure I get it in the right spot. Okay. Hopefully you can see it. I'm really delayed here. Okay, so purple. So I have purple for my base pages. So just purple cardstock and some blue. And then this is kind of what I started with. So this is one of the papers from Backgrounds 2, I believe. Yes, sorry. Backgrounds Volume 2. So I just took the one piece of paper and I cut it down the middle. Well, not down the middle. So I cut it so that, first of all, I trimmed it. So I trimmed the sheet down so it was 11.5, and then I cut it at 7 inches and 5 inches. And that's all I've done. And then I ink distress the edges, so I used the purple for that. And then this piece comes from backgrounds 1, and I basically did the same thing, so not exactly, but I trimmed this down again to 11.5, and then I cut, so this one is 4, it was 4.5, and then I was a little bit crooked, so I kind of straightened it out, but that's okay because the blue is going to cover that up. And then this one is 6.5. So if you're looking to recreate this, those are the sizes. And then these are just 1/2 inch strips, again trimmed down to 11.5. Okay, you are very fast. It's a lot of work, but such a cool effect. Thanks, Anita. So again, I did a lot of prep work, right? A lot of prep work. Now I do have a sketch. If anybody's interested, I can definitely post the sketch. It doesn't necessarily have dimensions on it yet, but it can easily. I can add that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start to attach these. So I'm going to start with this one. Let's go this way. So I don't tend to use a ton of adhesive. Once it's in the scrapbook, it'll be fine. Got my ruler because I want to make sure I get this nice and square. So like I said, I think I had it cut a little bit crooked, so hopefully I'm not going to have issues that way. So grid rulers are great because I'm just lining up at 1/2 inch, and then I can place this down 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the bottom. Perfect. Okay, that one's easy. And now we're going to take this one. I got things flying all over the place here. And we'll just get some adhesive on the back of this. Okay, so this one is going to line up right with the edge, okay? So again, I'm going to grab my ruler here and just line it up with this first piece because I want to make sure that everything's nice and even. On the right way, yes, because I want the two pieces to flow into each other. And then I'm just lining it up the edge of that paper. There, so you see there's a gap. That's perfectly fine. I was planning that to be there. Okay, so even with that, it looks kind of neat all by itself like that. Okay, and then this piece here, so I've inked it up as well. I've ink distressed it. I've used the same color blue on it. Okay, and then this time, even though that edge is ink distressed, I'm going to cover it up. So I did consider trimming it. So my problem is when I do cut these, so if you wanted to do this, you would properly, you would actually cut that piece at 4 1/4 inches, right? So you would have 7 and then 1/2 and then 4 1/4, and that's what gives you that gap there. But I like to have the overlap because when I have done it in the past, I always end up with things crooked and gaps, and it drives me crazy. So this way, there's no gaps. Okay, sorry, just need another sip. Looks like my comments might have stalled again. Okay, so then this time, I'm going to start with this piece. So get some adhesive on there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. Now one thing, I don't know about you, but my cardstock, this is close to my heart cardstock. And for some reason, most times, it's very, very tiny bit different from one side to the other. So I always like to make sure that I have the right way. So that is the right way. That matches exactly. And then I'm going to use that as my guide for putting this piece in place. Just might have slipped a smidge there. Okay, so there we go. And then I can take this ruler again, get this piece all adhesived up. probably don't need it. I have a big hair on my arm. Okay. So let's get that lined up. Make sure I'm at a mark there so I can position this properly. And then I'm going to go 1/4 inch. There. Look, it actually looks straight, I think. Let's see when I put this on if it's still straight. Can see it going well. It looks like the comments are still working. Wish there was a little button that you could just push that would keep them all there. Missy's saying, can you suggest a good grid ruler that the marks won't come off? So unfortunately, no, I can't. This one that I'm using again is close to my heart, which is gone. So, and honestly, this is my second one because they came out with a new one with a T-square, which you can see I don't even use, but they wore off too. So hopefully somebody else out there might have a good suggestion on what ruler would work great for that. But this one has been holding up a lot better. I don't know who the manufacturer of this was, so you know, I don't think they made it. Okay, so there is the base of my layout done, and now I just need to start placing everything on it. So let's find my file folders wherever I put them, and that goes there. Now I think it mixed things up. Okay, so hopefully I haven't mixed anything up. So that one is going here. So I've also got some photos somewhere that go inside it. Here they are. Okay, so let's just place these on the layout. So I'm just going to do this and this and this. Okay, so that's my basic layout. Okay, and then my title here, and then I have another piece. So I also cut out the little pocket tag holder. So this is also from the Floral Slots die set from David. So that one's going to go here. And then I just went through all of my journal dies and my art journal dies, and I cut out a few tags. So all I've done is I've cut them out and I've ink distressed them, and then I added a grommet. So I picked up a crocodile at a garage sale. It was a craft garage sale, but got it like really cheap, and it was in a container and it had all of these brads in it, or eyelets, all of these fancy eyelets in it. So anyway, I just rummaged through and they matched really nicely. And then I have prepared a bunch of photos. So like I said, lots of photos. So right, there's a photo of my first design team announcement, and then I have photos from some previous lives that I've done. So I like to save all these. I think it's pretty cool to be on the design team and for my stuff to get published and posted on the Elizabeth Craft page. So I've just kind of grouped them. I have a lot more, and so I probably will add more, but as we go I'll kind of explain that. Just another one, and then I arranged an ATC swap last year, so I thought that would be a fun thing to put in there. And then again, the tags are going to have photos on them as well, and then some space for some journaling. Okay. Why one? Because Tim Holtz ruler. Yeah, I don't know. A quilting ruler. That's a good idea. Yeah, it was a great win at the garage sale. I was really happy with that, I tell you. I think it was only $10. Okay, what file folder did you use, Rebecca? So that is the Floral Slots file folder from David, as well as the Bloom file folder from David. Okay, so the flowers. So what I thought is I'm probably going to put one up here like that. I just thought that looked really, oh, you can't see it. My head's in the way. How's that? Maybe that will help. Because I'm going to need maybe some advice on this. I cut out 4. I don't know that I'm going to use 4. So I don't know. Can you see that there? Maybe I'd have to zoom out a little bit more just so you can see the full effect. And then where do I put more? So it's always nice when you're doing something like this. You want to go kind of up and down and up and down. You want to create triangles of spaces. So those are kind of like just some basic art rules that you want to try and work with that will help your layout to feel cohesive and feel nicely designed. So maybe that one's going to work there. But then do I just stick with 2? Or do I maybe do something like this? I don't mind that. I also wondered if I should put something here with the title, but I kind of tested that and I thought it kind of was distracting. Yeah, see, I don't know that I really like that very much. So what do you guys think? Odd numbers work best. Definitely. You're right, Katie. Bottom, middle, behind the folder. The flowers can peek from behind the folders. Yeah, that flower bunch looks so fun. Yes, it is, Belinda. This is a pretty cool one. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. This, I might pull some gems out. Gems are fantastic to add. So like I could do something like that. So it's kind of underneath all of them. So that might work. I don't mind that. That gives me kind of that triangle, right? Yeah, so I think that's good. I think I'm gonna go with that bottom. Yeah, I think for sure it looks better with on the bottom. Yes, but yeah, it is kind of neat with the 2 pages. Hopefully I can make that work nicely and get it all lined up. Okay, so I know that's for sure. So let's just go with that. So let's start with this one. So I'm just gonna set these up out of the way because this is gonna be, I didn't put double-sided tape on it, so I'm gonna have to use my glue press. I hope that it's working. I know David was struggling on one of his lives with his glue the one day, and I feel it because, see, look, it's not, oh, there, it's going now. Sometimes it just does not want to flow. Make sure I'm on camera. Again, I don't need to really worry too much. This is going to be in a pocket protector, which I will show you how that's going to work, because there's a bit of a trick to that. If you've never done a scrapbook layout where your scrapbook's in the sleeves and you have interactive elements, I'm going to show you how to do that. Hopefully I'm not going to run out of time. So let's make sure I get on with things and don't dawdle too much. Okay, so we're right about there. I need that big block back. Where'd it go? Here. Quick. Everything's stuck to it. There we go. Okay, so set that one over there, and then we can work on this one. Okay, so we're going to do this one first. Okay, so remember that. So items in 3s. Yes, 3s is always a good design rule. Okay. Get this going. So I know I asked at the beginning, but lots of people have popped on since. How many people are actually do scrapbook as well as all of the other things? Because of course I do all of those things. But I know a lot of people used to scrapbook and they don't anymore. A lot of my friends don't always scrapbook. Oh, the hearts aren't working. I don't know why that would happen. What was that other one? Did the silicone in the holder? Oh, to keep the tip from plugging. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's almost like it gets clogged up higher on me. And the pin is not very long. Okay, where'd I have that? I think it was like there. No, I gotta, because that's gonna go back here. So something like that, right? Hopefully. Okay, that one's good. Flip this over. Okay, so we want that one to be like an inch up. It's a little bit more than an inch. Okay, so this is the line, right, like there. So let's see if I can do this. I might have to add some adhesive after I get it stuck down. So I need to make sure that I'm not going to lose a bunch of pieces when I trim it to go on the other page. I don't know if those ones are going to hit or not, but just in case, we'll go like that. Okay, so we're going to go like about an inch up, about like that. I think so. Okay. Never done any scrapbook, Petra says. Anna does. Anita's never done it either. Chris hasn't for years, but would like to get back into it. Maybe I can inspire you to get back into it, Chris. Katie, I scrapbook my animals. That's neat. I've stayed with my planner sizes. Saves me space. Yeah, it is definitely much more space saving to do planners. So, you know those IKEA Collage shelves? I have two 2x4s, right? I think that's how they come. Is it 2x4 or 2x5? Anyway, they're almost completely full of scrapbooks. So I got a little bit crazy when my boys were younger, and I was like scrapbooking everything. So they kind of have one for every year. Sorry, I'm just trying to reach my bigger scissors. So I've kind of tried to like tone it down a little bit and just do, because I would do like one for each boy, and then I would do the same layout for myself. Yeah, it was crazy. So definitely don't do that as much now, but then I was just trying to update and get caught up on some of them and put them in albums, and I realized I didn't do any for my boys for like 2017 and 18, because I had done a mini album, and so I put all the photos away, like I filed them on the computer, and I had filed them all away as if they were done, and I had like 2 layouts for my boys. So I just went through, and actually I was going to do one of those today, but then I realized I wanted to do this instead. So this is going to go in an album that is not full yet, and it's just about like scrapbooking stuff. Okay, so now is the trick to line this up. So hopefully I can do that. Okay, what do we got? Oh, they disappear. I push them and then I see them and then they disappear before I have a chance to really read the comments. So I will try again once I get this stuck down. Get all of those little edges. I think so. Okay, so make sure I'm lined up nice and straight, and then that goes, oops, down a little bit. Whoops. I mean, it's going to be separated in the album a little bit, so it's not that big of a deal, but I want it to be as perfect as it can be. It's so fun to go back and flip through them and enjoy those memories again. Yes. Oh, hi, Els. Yes. Great colors, aren't they? Karen started with scrapbooking and moved to cards and journaling. And you dabble in scrapbooking now. Yes. Well, that's same. Like I started in scrapbooking and then just slowly started in everything else. Okay. So let's get these ones attached. Okay. So I'm going to start over here, I think, with this one and moving those. Okay. Just trying to keep the photos sorted so that they don't get all mixed up. Because I gotta still show you a lot. Okay, so I'm going 1 inch up from the bottom and 1/2 inch from the side. So get those on there. Like I said, I gotta get moving so that I can show you all of these final details. So maybe it won't be completely done, but you'll get the gist of it. So now I just gotta try and figure out, sorry, I need to grab my mat here so I can make sure that I'm lined up. I'm going to go 1/4 inch above. Sorry for the poking my head in here. I think I'm good there. Okay. And I can grab this. Oh, I need to move that over so I can see. Sorry. Just need to be able to make sure I'm completely lined up there. Okay, so then this side, I should be able to, whoops, everything's flying around. Put those back in there. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Putting just a little bit more adhesive on these because they are gonna be moving, but again, they'll be in the page protector, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, and we wanna be at 1 inch from the bottom. Nice and straight, and then 1/4 inch, oh sorry, 1/2 inch. That's right. Oh, whoa, 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 do it properly. My goodness. Almost messed that up, eh? Okay, that's not necessarily exact, but because of the tab. But I'm okay with it there. And then we'll do this one. Okay, so line that up again. Straight. And then it's about there. Okay, that's good. As long as they're straight, that's what matters. Whoops. Get some adhesive on that. Got lots of foam tape on here. Makes it a little bit harder to put this adhesive on if they're under a page protector. I'm going to show you what you do if it's under a page protector, so don't worry. Chris, you're going to see how that works. That's why I'm going to try and rush a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with one of these. So I have some super heavy duty magnets. There they are. Okay, keep them apart because they break. Okay, so I think I'm going to zoom in just so that hopefully you can see this a little bit better. So I'm going to go here. Okay, and then hopefully that's better. So I have picture for the front, pictures for the inside. So this was, I don't know. I might stamp on these a little bit after, but I might not. So like that's gonna go there. And then I don't really want to attach this one yet, but I'm gonna put the adhesive on it because I think I can, yes, I don't want too much thickness between my magnets because I've done that before and then they don't stick once I start attaching all my photos. So learned that lesson the hard way. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get this lined up nicely. So I'm just taking some double-sided adhesive. I'm going to stick that down, peel that off. I'm going to have to lift that one up, I think. And then I'm going to go like this. Okay. No, you know what? I am going to put it here, I think. Yeah, it's got some, it's got enough grip there. Well, I do have one more thickness to put in. Let's see. Yep, it's still good. Okay, so go like that and same thing. I still got 10 minutes, so I'm good. Okay, put some adhesive on here. Peel that up. So I was thinking I would put it maybe on the underside, like under this photo, but it's really hard to line it up when you do it that way, so it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Okay. Right. Nice straight. Okay, right there. So it does kind of mess up your photos a little bit if you put a lot of pressure. So once it's squished in an album, your little magnets there might kind of start to show through. But this should be okay. Okay, so that's one. Then this is going to go in here like that. See, and then can't really hear it now. So let's just leave these other ones as they are, but that's basically what I'm going to do with them. And let's, there we go, find this. Okay, so we want this pocket on here. I'm going to start with the bottom. And then I want it to be in the middle. Maybe I will use that ruler. I am like good at eyeballing things usually and not really caring, but I should really. Okay, so we're gonna push that down. Then we can get these side pieces off. Am I still, sorry, I'll move it over here so you can see it better. Forgot that I had zoomed in. Okay, and then we'll just push that down. Okay, so I'm going to use this tag for a little bit of journaling. This one's going to get another photo, which I didn't print yet because it's tiny, so I need to find another photo to put on it so that I don't waste half a piece of a photo. Oh, and then I'm going to have to cut the page protector for that too. I forgot all about that. That's okay. I cut my page protectors all the time. It's not a big deal. There. And then this photo. Okay, so these ones you see I'm putting more adhesive on them just because they're going to be going in and out. I don't know. Top or bottom? I think top, and then I can maybe put a word or something on the bottom. Okay, there we go. So we got those. I did not pull out any ribbon. I'm not sure what I want to do about that yet. If I'm going to bother, I don't know. Okay, I think I'm going to have to zoom out for you to actually see what I'm going to be doing here. So there is my layout. Like I said, each of these is going to get a photo on top, like that. They're going to get a magnet inside to hold them closed. And then maybe I'll put some gems. Oh, I didn't show you this. I got this little piece too. That's going to go on here. Somewhere. Where should I put it? Can you see that? Where should I put that? I don't know. I think there. Okay, so I have my page protectors here somewhere. Here they are. I have two, but I'm only going to show you one. Okay, so it's going to go in the album this way. Put that back in there. Okay, so I start by putting it in the page protector. Oh, you got to be really careful about those those bits on the edge. There we go. Okay, and then I have a little marker. Let's see if this one will work. So not a permanent marker. Don't use a permanent marker. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to make it work. So we're going to go right there, right there. So I'm marking tiny bit outside, and I probably shouldn't go below. I should probably go above. Tiny bit. I'm going to go as even with it as possible. Let's do it that way. So a tiny bit on the outside, but as even as I can get. So let's do that one. Same thing. That mark. Okay. Then grab the ruler I put away. There it is. You need a cork back ruler. Has to be cork backed to make it easier for you. Okay, I just got to stand up and grab my other cutting mat. Okay, so probably best, well, you have to pull it out anyway, so let's just pull this out. Okay, so we're going to set that there. Okay, so then we're going to put our cutting mat inside. So you can do this with any size page protector as long as you have a mat that fits inside your page protector. All right, so yeah, I have a couple little tiny square ones that I've used. Okay, so can you see my black? It's going to be really hard I think for you to see this, but hopefully you can understand. So there's a little mark there, and then a little mark there, and then I just, no, it's still there. And same, so this is the other one. Okay, so I'm shoving my mat all the way in there, because then if it's straight, it makes it a little bit easier for me to see what my lines look like. Here, I'll zoom in and see. Oh, don't do that. I don't know what I just did there. Okay, I'm on the zoom in. Okay. So I'm going to line up my ruler. The reason you need the cork back is because otherwise this ruler is going to slip and slide everywhere. Putting a ton of pressure on this to make sure this doesn't move. And then I'm going to put my knife on one dot and just drag it all the way to the other one. Now I used to punch, like with my hole punch, a hole. I'll show you. This. I used to use this and punch a hole, so you used to have them with the hammer. I don't bother doing that anymore. Hopefully I'm not going to regret that, because that circle would then kind of stop it from potentially ripping, but don't think it's going to be an issue. Okay, so now we're going to go here. So do the second one. Okay, yep, cut all the way through. Now, I did not mark the tags. I will do the same thing for the tags, but I don't want to take like another 10 minutes. So, now this is the tricky part. Let's just pull these out of here for now. So typically when I'm doing that, it's because I have photos and I have flaps that flip up. They're a lot easier to put in because they kind of slide in. This one, because they flip down, I'm opening them up and I'm going to slide it in. If I can get the whole thing in the page protector. There we go. Because I think I should be able to pull that out. I just got to watch. That does not make it easy, these little bits here. Okay, so see, I'm getting caught on that first one. So pull that up. Sorry, can you see me getting caught? I'm getting caught on everything. Okay. Slide slide in. Okay, so now I'm getting close to my openings. So then I want to make sure, hopefully you can see me, right? That one's going to come in, and then this one I missed, so I'm just going to, if I could pick it up, stick my hand in there and pull it into the opening. There we go, come on, keep going. Dot, dot, done. Okay, zoom out again just to make sure you can see. So now I can put this back in here like that. There. See, it's stuck. Nice, the magnet worked. So this one obviously still have to decorate. So same. Now when you're doing this one, because you're going to have to cut your slots this way, I'll just kind of show you what I would do once I have the slots cut. Slide it in the right way. Do you know how many times I have cut the wrong side of my page protector? So annoying, right? So I'm going to mark them, I'm going to cut them, and then once that cut is there, I'm going to slide it all the way in, and then I'm basically going to do this. And I'm going to pull that up until it comes out of the opening, kind of like I was working with that one. So that's it. Whoops, was there, okay. Hopefully everybody caught that. Did I flip around? Yes. So yeah, so hopefully everybody enjoyed that. So awesome, so cool. Yeah, the circle usually keeps the line from ripping. Yeah, so like I said, I've done it like until very recently, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to try it without and see what happens. Like I'm going to open that flap, but it's not really pulling on it anyway, right? Like there's no stress on it, so it shouldn't rip. It really shouldn't rip. It should be fine. Thanks Catherine and Belinda for saying awesome. On's beautiful. Thanks Els. Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to do something a little bit different this time. I've lost the comments. Anyway, I hope everybody did enjoy it, and that you might give it a shot and see what you can do with your dies on layouts instead of an art journal or a planner. It's fun to use them for all kinds of things. But yeah, anyway, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I'm going to flip this around so I can turn it off. And I'm not sure who's here on Friday, sorry. I know a lot of you already know, but do like, comment, and share the video for your chance to win a gift certificate, and have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye.